Hey all, No Null here. The latest episode of the new Mr Puzzles and Mr Weapons team up arc, The Final Step, just released. At the end of the episode, Mr Monitor moves the date of Mr Puzzles' execution to later that same day, making Puzzles decide to hold his prison break he had been planning with Weapons and Toomp to later that day as well. After this revelation, we get a date teasing something for July 26th. Which is next Saturday. Whether this will be the release date for the new SMG4 movie, which has been confirmed to be coming soon, is not actually 100% guaranteed, as after all, we could get a movie trailer on that date, like how we got the Silence of the Cats trailer on a Saturday. However, since they're hyping up this date at the end of the episode and on the banner, to me that makes it unlikely that a mere movie trailer will release on the 26th. This is definitely not how they teased the Silence of the Cats movie. They didn't hype up the release of the Silence of the Cats movie trailer. This is quite different, so I find it hard to believe this is all for a trailer. So it's pretty safe to say we'll get a movie next Saturday, with a trailer dropping next Wednesday, which will confirm that it is indeed a movie, and we'll likely get the movie title, obviously, because we haven't gotten that yet. And I predict it will be called something like SMG4 Movie The Death Cube, or something else with Death Cube in the name, since this form of execution has had some intrigue built around it, and so it is likely to be the final obstacle the trio of villains actually have to overcome in the movie. And if that's the case, then naming the movie after the Death Cube makes a lot of sense. The importance of the Death Cube is further backed up by how it looks to have an original model with this mysterious silhouette shown for it. Also, Mr Monitor's reappearance at the end of the episode and his substantial role in moving the plot forward also makes me believe I was right that he will be the main antagonist of this arc, as he sort of is right now, and specifically for the movie he will probably play a much bigger antagonistic role, as the whole plot seems to be revolving around the prison escape, which is something I hadn't been expecting. I was expecting the prison escape to not actually be the finale. But anyways, secondly, we need to discuss Toomp, like, right now. Now, in one of my previous theory videos, I proposed a wild theory that Toomp might be connected to the Demonic Goop, or is the Demonic Goop from the It's Gotta Be Perfect movie. Though I originally doubted this would be the case, I based this theory on Toomp's purple reddish colour and how he is made of a goopy substance and his like he has a monstrous vibe going on. Plus the fact he is teaming up with Mr Puzzles could also be a reference to the Demonic Goop, since Mr Puzzles gave the demonic keyboard to SMG4. Heck, maybe Toomp has been so willing to aid Mr Puzzles so far, due to this old connection between the two of them, who knows. We have no idea how Mr Puzzles got a hold of the demonic keyboard or what its origins might be, so maybe Toomp could have been partially introduced to finally answer this long discussed question among SMG4 theorists like myself. The writers have shown to be sort of listening to what the fans want, as I feel like they did the whole Karen arc because We Must Kill Mario was so popular among fans. As I said earlier, I never believed this demonic goop explanation would actually be the origin for Toomp's character, until this scene where Toomp briefly merges with Mr Weapons. We see Toomp manifest a bunch of tentacles that use the exact same tentacle model that was used for the tentacles manifested by the demonic goop. Sure, this could be another asset reuse. They have done this before with models used for the demonic goop. But now there's just too much lining up with the idea that Toomp is connected to the demonic goop for me to doubt this theory any longer. Him merging with Mr Weapons could also be a sign, since the demonic goop similarly merged with SMG4 and corrupted his body, like how Toomp warped Mr Weapons' body in a demonic, monstrous way. So as an SMG4 theorist who's long wanted an explanation for the demonic goop, I'm very, very excited. I really hope that there is actually a connection here and it's not all just a really strange coincidence. So yeah, I'm really liking Toomp. Very much liking Toomp so far. But another thing about Toomp. Before, I had speculated that Toomp will essentially become the new Meggy, acting as Mr. Puzzle's new minion and the friend that he needed to move on from his attachment to Leggy, and I still think that's very much the case. But I also think there are parallels being set up between Weapon's relationship with Toomp and Weapon's relationship with his kids. We see Toomp remind Weapons of the situation he had forced his kids into at the end of Silence of the Cats, which resulted in his kids getting hurt. This scene highlights how Weapons clearly regrets his past actions and is truly remorseful about what he did. This results in him wanting to avoid hurting Toomp by placing him in a similar situation that he had placed his kids in. It appears Weapons may be beginning to view Toomp like a son, with the biggest piece of evidence for this being how Weapons calls him half pint at the end of the episode, a word he often used to refer to his children, but he's also been warming up to Toomp quite a lot in general. This all reinforces my idea that this arc has a found family theme which is expressed through the growing relationship between the trio of villains. This is further suggested by how it seems unlikely that Weapons will get accepted back into his old family, as Mr. Puzzle's line about how Weapons' family hates him gets repeated during the flashback scene Weapons suffers through.
Your family hates you, remember?
Which seems to suggest we really won't be seeing that possibility occur of Weapons reuniting with his old family. However, although Weapons clearly wants to remain an assassin, he has improved as a father due to his genuine remorse and desire to improve himself, as shown by how he treats Toomp. So some sort of redemption for Mr. Weapons is happening, though this will likely manifest in how he acts as a father figure for Toomp, rather than him being accepted into Karen's family. At the end of the episode, we once again see Mr. Puzzles conflicted when Mr. Weapons calls him pal, showing that he is getting increasingly attached to Weapons and Toomp. Once again, the writers are highlighting Mr. Puzzle's inner conflict of how he views Weapons and Toomp. Are they just pawns in his latest scheme, or are they his genuine friends? I'm very much enjoying this character arc they're giving Mr. Puzzles so far. Moving on, we know Meggy has decided to act as Mr. Puzzle's lawyer to get him out of the death cube punishment, and we will likely see this plotline continue in the movie, with Meggy likely rushing to the prison to try and stop the execution happening later that day. However, it appears Meggy has begun developing doubts about Mr. Puzzle's change of heart that he professed he had, as Weapon's nickname for Puzzles, Boxhead, grabs her attention for a brief moment, with Meggy obviously picking up on who that may be referring to. Since Meggy now likely suspects Mr. Puzzles was behind the robberies, this may eventually lead to her turning against Mr. Puzzles, though she'll likely just try to interfere with his escape plans rather than let him die to the death cube, as she is clearly very opposed to that idea. Maybe once Mr. Puzzles fully accepts Weapons and Toomp as friends, however, this will convince Meggy that Mr. Puzzles has changed, even if only slightly, as Puzzles is still rather villainous. But even so, maybe this will convince her to allow him to escape prison. I feel like they may be building towards something like that with the Meggy plotline, but honestly I'm not too sure where the whole Meggy thing will end. Anyways, this was a great episode, and so far this has been a great arc. Let's hope the movie sticks the landing and lives up to my expectations. I'd love to be as satisfied with it as I was with the Silence of the Cats movie. Bye bye.